Welcome to the Green Wave Coaches Show with Gallatin football head coach Michael Stroup and Gallatin News sports editor Blaine Kellar. The Green Wave Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Ace Hardware. Football season is grilling season, so stop by Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out their large selection of Big Green Egg grills. Also brought to you by Double Dogs, Sumner County's favorite sports bar. Dairy Berries Heating and Air. Dairy Berries has been voted Sumner County's best heating and air service for the past 9 years. For outstanding service, give them a call today. And finally, by Tennessee Highway Safety Office, reminding you that fans don't let fans drive drunk. Now here are Coach Michael Stroup and Blaine Kellar.
Time for the regular season finale of the Green Wave Coaches Show, brought to you by Double Dogs, Dairy Berries Heat and Air, and Tennessee Ace Hardware. I'm Sumner County Sports Editor Blaine Kellar, joined by Gallatin football coach Michael Stroup. Coach Stroup, happy Halloween to you.
Happy Halloween to you.
Well, big, spooky situation coming up for the Green Wave as they face a do-or-die situation on Friday to get into the Class 6A playoffs. But
Thursday.
That's a Thursday now. Mm-hmm. More breaking news on the Green Wave Coaches Show. As always, we like to bring that to you. So Lebanon and Gallatin on Thursday now. Mm-hmm. But before that, we'll recap this past Friday's game between Springfield and Gallatin, a 26-19 final. Coach, it looked as though your offense on tape moved the ball better than it had at a lot of points this season. You only had one punt, but a couple of costly red zone trips, couple of interceptions kind of doomed you in this game.
Yeah, I thought the last 3 weeks we played offensively pretty well. The other night we get inside the red zone or the 10-yard line and we come away with 6 when we need 14. And then we had a turnover inside the 10-yard line, which I thought there was pass interference there, but the referee, who obviously didn't. We also had I thought we scored a touchdown there. They called a hold on Justin Cagle. I didn't feel that there was a hold there either, but he overruled me on that one. So, but yeah, we were able to move the ball when we needed to, and I was proud of the offense for doing that. So
you guys had, as I mentioned, a couple of red zone trips. Defense had a couple of red zone stops, but conversely, a couple of red zone trips where you don't get the desired outcome. Mm-hmm. Then a couple of penalties throughout the game that you found questionable. Really costly ones too, though. Which of those two things would you kind of accredit more to that loss? The red zone kind of production or those penalties?
I think they both played a part in it. I think the penalties probably there in the fourth quarter defensively, we kind of lost our composure. Lost our composure there, and we can't string off of 3 or 4 penalties. I think we had 12 penalties for 100 yards or something like that. So that's just undisciplined. And no matter who's if it was a penalty or not, that's just an excuse. You don't need to put yourself in situations where one time we had them on the plus 45 and then they just kind of by penalties got it down to like the 15.
Yeah.
We just got to do a better job of controlling our emotions and also wrapping up and driving through and not grabbing.
How frustrating or difficult is it to see double-digit penalties this late in the regular season?
It's irritating, but again, it just goes back to we had some instances where it's you can call holding all day, you can call a bunch of things all day, but it just it goes back to it's the self-inflicting penalties that I don't really appreciate, and it's the personal fouls and the unsportsmanlike. Those irritate me more than anything. They had a holding call one time on their first touchdown they scored over there. Springfield did, and I've never seen a flag picked up and waved off for holding.
Yeah, that one was picked off.
Yeah, it was waved off, and I was kind of like, well, that's the first for me, it depends on the crew and all that, and those guys have a tough job and whatnot. But yeah, it was kind of their first span of 2 or 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. It was kind of frustrating.
Yeah, in that you mentioned the unsportsmanlike conduct. Was that assessed to the sideline in the fourth quarter? What kind of happened there?
Well, we had Michael Bell, one of our linebackers, was out there kind of chirping at our players and telling them to, tighten up and get the call from the sideline, and the official decided to throw the flag on him for being too loud. And
wow,
that's what happened there.
Do you try to explain to the ref, what happens in a situation like that?
You ever try to explain it to your wife when she's mad at you?
That's a pretty good comparison there.
Yeah.
Coach, you led 19-13 in this game in the third quarter, and of course the penalties and there are things that you can kind of attribute here and there, but you did go the rest of the third quarter and the fourth quarter without scoring. Mm-hmm. What did you see in that stretch that changed after a lot of success in those first couple drives?
I think that we had a bad series there once. We got an interception that was probably questionable about being an interception, but they gave it to us, and that was a bad series for us right there.
You were talking about the interception that you guys had, where the ball runs away.
Clearly not an interception. Clearly was not an interception.
But a break for your team.
Oh yeah.
You didn't really.
Yeah, they make bad calls both ways. I mean, we just
didn't capitalize on that break.
No, we didn't. We had a terrible offensive series right there. I think it was one of the times we had to punt. And so, we in those situations we get it back. We can't win the game all in one play. And I have to constantly remind those kids, hey, when we got the momentum there and we want to take teams and put them out, we can't win it in one play. We've got to move the chains and just, it's the process of the play, and don't look forward and just play the play. And we still struggle with that, whether it be inexperience or just trying too hard, and both can be contributed to that.
So Springfield leads 7-6 at halftime. As I mentioned, Gallatin takes the 19-13 lead before the Yellow Jackets rattle off 13 unanswered. Wanted to break down those fourth quarter interceptions that you guys had. You said the first one thought was maybe pass interference. Mm-hmm. Was that ball designated for Micah or for Preston in the red zone?
It was Preston. The corner was playing divide technique out there, and that it's not an option to throw it to Jenkins in that particular situation, and it's just at the end of the day, it's just an old tight end dump pass. And, we thought Mooney had a step on him, and he did. The ball was a little bit overthrown. Mm-hmm. But the great thing about high school football, that's not a thing in high school football.
The uncatchable ball.
That's not a thing. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I probably think these officials watch too much NFL and all that other stuff, and they get it confused. There's no such thing as an uncatchable ball in high school. So, you've got to he in that situation regardless. I mean, you're on the 2-yard line, we throw a dump pass, he's diving for the ball, and he gets hit by a linebacker in the process. So, but the corner made a great play on it.
Yeah,
tremendous play.
Yeah.
He had to dive to go get it, and hats off to him for being attentive and getting that ball. The last interception, of course, was just I kind of felt that we went for it all in one whoop right there, and we shouldn't have. We should have took the easy first down, which probably would have been a comeback over there to the field side. But the quarterback felt like he probably had a chance to win the game right there. But again, you've got to. You got to move the chains, and we had 1:08 left on the clock, and it's a learning situation. Like I said, it's either inexperience or trying too hard. In that instance, I think the quarterback was trying too hard at the time, and just move the chains.
The same defender made that play as well. Jermaine Cobbins with 2 interceptions for Springfield, the last one in the last minute. As a play caller, did you feel like you could have broken off another big play, considering that you converted a 4th and forever right before that?
Yeah. I mean, you just got to get the ball into the right players' hands and then let them distribute it and make decisions and get it to the right people's hand to make plays for us. But, I still believe that, we can score at any moment with our offense. It's just, we just got to, we got to be patient with it and not try to, hit a home run the first swing.
We've talked a couple of times on this show about these situations that your teams have found themselves in. A late drive in a one-score game, with an opportunity to tie or take the lead. Do you learn something different each time you go through these, even though you haven't really put together that winning situation out of it?
The kids, here's what I learn about them every week. They don't give up. They keep fighting. They keep trying hard. I kind of look back. All of our games, maybe besides one, were then maybe 2 scores or less. Mm-hmm. And we just gotta, but it's a sign. Again, it's a sign of youth and inexperience. I mean, it's a whole lot easier to take a group of kids that have been, seasoned or whatnot. But we've got a group of kids that, they didn't have a whole heck of a lot of experience coming in. They've gotten better every week, and I think they have. But we just gotta, we can't do self-inflicting things to ourselves. We've got to be able to wrap up and run through people. We can't just grab and sling and run past our fits on defense. And everybody's accountable and everybody's responsible for it. Offensively, we can't play behind the chains, and we can't play in long yardage situations. We've got to play short down situations and put our offense in a good situation. Special teams, we've got to, we can't punt it. We can't punt the ball to their best returner. And we've got to be able to make extra points and do all the things we've got to do. So, everybody plays a part.
Still waiting for all 3 phases? Kind of sounds like you're waiting for all 3 phases to still play in unison to this point of the year. Is that fair to say?
I think we've had moments, but we haven't. I felt like, defense kind of tried to carry us as much as they could. And then, since we've been back from fall break, I feel like offensively we've moved the ball. I can't really think off the top of my head how many yards we've got offensively the past 3 games, but I mean it's pretty close to 1,000 yards, probably, maybe more. So I mean, but when we got going, it seems like something else is kind of it faltered at times. So we just gotta keep working.
There's at least one more chance for Gallatin to go to work on Thursday against Lebanon. If they win, they get another chance next week in the Class 6A playoffs. Stick around here on the Green Wave Coaches Show, and we'll break down that game after this.
Football season is grilling season. The Big Green Egg is the perfect grill for everyone. From the backyard cook to the world's most acclaimed chefs. Stop at Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out our large selection of Big Green Egg grills. It's the perfect grill for any grilling need.
Toby knows comfort. Whether day or night. Through the highs and the lows, Toby knows. You've put it off long enough. That old system is just out with the old, in with the new. We'll make it worthwhile all the way through. Derryberry is your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Visit DerryberryAC.com today and schedule a visit. Derryberry Heat and Air, making customers for life.
As we continue here on the Green Wave Coaches Show, one thing I did want to bring up, talking about your three phases in a football game, Coach. Special teams, especially in this past game, were really, really good. Max Kelly had the 2 field goals. Felt like every kickoff was at least at the 40 or 50-yard line return-wise. Your returners felt like they did a good job. Of course, Max did a good job with punting. And I wanted to kind of give you a platform for just a second to maybe make a case as we approach these Mr. Football Awards for Max Kelly maybe being involved in the conversation for Kicker of the Year.
Yeah, we've nominated him. Coach Sanders is on the thing, sending that out, and we've nominated him. Max is a tremendous kicker and does a real good job for us. Like I said, I think he's had 90-something% of his kickoffs in the end zone, maybe 98, 97%.
Most of them past the end zone.
Yeah, past the end zone. And a punting average, I think he's probably around, I think he's probably 44, 45 average. But Max is a treat to have. He's a good kid, got a good family, excellent student in the classroom, multi-sport athlete. Yeah, just all around a real good kid.
In your 2 years here, has he made maybe coaching the special teams unit a bit easier for this staff? Having somebody who is skilled like that?
I mean, with someone with a leg like his, it does make it easier now. You still have to, remind him to kick it away from the best returner, because sometimes he may decide he wants to kick it to them and see if he can go tackle them. So. You have to explain to him that's not really in the cards. So, kicking it to the short side of the field and out of bounds, that's kind of what we want to do there. But no, Max is, especially on kickoffs, anytime we can start on the -20, he's the best defensive player we got. Instead of starting on the 50 or 40 in some high school kickers, can't get it there. So. They either have to pooch it or squib it. So yeah, having him and a weapon like him is good. And we've got one coming up right behind him that I think is just going to be as good.
Wow, high praise there. Gallatin's got Lebanon coming up on Thursday, as I mentioned, a winner-go-home game for the final Region 4-6A playoff spot. Similar situation as last year when you were going up against Lebanon the last week. Have you talked with your players at all about that?
Well, we talked about the what's on the line and the outcomes and all that. It's just an opportunity for us to go over there on Thursday and fight the elements, because I imagine it's going to be coming a rainstorm for the 3rd time this year. So, we just go over there and get after it and give ourselves a shot to get in the dance.
Looking at how Lebanon played last week against Hendersonville, is it a good thing whenever you see a defense kind of give up what they gave up, or a bad thing because they're kind of working to correct all of that?
I think week to week teams they go through ups and downs, and I think Lebanon's Lebanon is well coached, and they've got some good athletes over there on that team. All we can do is just do what we do and do a little bit better job of it, and try to take advantage of certain situations that may be provided to us.
Yeah, Hendersonville had 300 passing yards, over 500 yards of total offense. Don't want to get too much into specifics with you, but when you look at that tape, and of course having played Hendersonville, do you see a way that you could exploit Lebanon similarly?
I mean, I watch tape just like everybody else, so, maybe.
Defensively, Coach, I know you said that, in that Springfield game, your unit did all that it kind of could to keep the score what it was. Have you guys had maybe some conversations as a defensive staff on how you can really strengthen that unit through the rest of the regular season and maybe even going into next year?
Well, I think you got to also understand, and a lot of people just look at, okay, the final score or whatever, but it's also you've got to consider, offensively this year we've turned the ball over more than we did last year. All right, and so and you put the defense in certain parts of the field that may not be comfortable for them, and so you've got to be able to understand and look at it in that view. But again, you've got to have disciplined players, and I told the coaches the other day, I don't care what scheme you run right now. We can talk about this scheme, we can talk about this front, we can talk about this personnel all we want to. We just got to get tougher, and we've got to put our face mask through somebody else's chest and run through them. And until we decide to do that, because we've been practicing full pads all the way up till now, and going after it. Kids have got to make the decision. Hey, I want to do this. And we've got to do a better job or put more emphasis than we do at practice of getting after each other. But yeah, I think it's kind of unfair defensively right now to say, whether it's not an easy fix. It's not an easy fix. It's you can probably change some pieces out here and there and put new pieces in, but at the end of the day, you gotta go wanna go hurt somebody.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to our nastiness talk of last week.
Yep.
It's not an easy fix. Is it something that can be fixed this week, and if you play in the next week? Every opportunity is
a week to get better. Today's the day to get better at anything you do. All right, and it's an opportunity for our players to get better at football. It's just like you have a better opportunity at writing. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Right. So today's just another day to get better, and every day is an opportunity to do that. And today we will go out there and we'll be full go and tackling and getting after it and whatnot. But yes, I think you can fix it. I think you can it's just got the light's got to pop on, and sometimes it pops on a whole lot sooner for others than it does, for other kids on the team. It comes on late sometimes, and hopefully we can get all the lights on.
Coach, I mentioned this a couple weeks back. It's been a long time since you've missed the playoffs, a long time since you've had a losing season. Had that at USJ, and then you turned that into a really successful run. Mm-hmm. How do you remember that season in particular, and did that kind of change that trend toward that light coming on?
Well, it's just human, and for me, it's the same thing. You always questioned yourself in life, right? Whenever you're working at a job or you're doing things where, all right, this is what we're going to do, move forward. All right, it's not working. It's not working. You're not getting the results you want. You got to change something, right? Or you ask yourself, what can I do better? All right, and you just don't know what it is. And so I think it might have been last week, maybe, went to FCA banquet. And I had a couple of guys, 3 guys come up to me, and older guys, and they were like, we see what you're doing it the right way. We've been here all our life. We've been in the area, and they weren't Gallatin people, but they've been around. They said, you're doing it the right way. And again, it goes back to discipline and getting the right people in the right seats, on the bus. So you just got to keep pounding that stone.
Well, the stone will definitely be pounded. I think feel a lot better if you find a way to get into the playoffs this Thursday against Lebanon. Tough task on that night on Halloween, again in the do-or-die situation for the Green Wave. We'll have coverage of that one. And when we come back, we'll have one fun question. Coach Michael Stroup. Stay tuned.
Football season is grilling season. The Big Green Egg is the perfect grill for everyone. From the backyard cook to the world's most acclaimed chefs. Stop at Tennessee Ace Hardware today and check out our large selection of Big Green Egg grills. It's the perfect grill for any grilling need.
Toby. Toby knows comfort, whether day or night. Through the highs and the lows, Toby knows. You've put it off long enough. That old system is just out with the old, in with the new. We'll make it worthwhile all the way through. Derryberry is your local independent train dealer. It's hard to stop a train. Visit DerryberryAC.com today and schedule a visit. Derryberry Heat and Air, making customers for life.
Time for one fun question with Coach Michael Stroup on the Green Wave Coaches Show. Coach, it's really easy for myself and probably for a lot of people to look at a football coach, high school football coach, and just see them as that, when really there's a whole other aspect that goes on during the day inside the building as a teacher. Mm-hmm. What does your classroom kind of situation look like here at Gallatin? What's it look like across your career? And how is that as fulfilling maybe as being a football coach?
So I'm a wellness and teacher here, so we have a little bit of activities and games, and then we come into the classroom and we do we talk about whether it be alcohol or drug prevention and illegal drugs. We talk about those things right there, tobacco and all that. I'm probably a history teacher more at heart. I was a history teacher at everywhere I've been probably. Did some U.S. history, AP history, driver's ed. Did some of that.
At a high school?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, it takes some guts.
I've never heard of a high school offering that.
Yeah. No, I've done that. You got to have a lot of patience. I got a brake on my side though, so I control it.
Yeah, right. I was going to ask if it's one of those cars where you can slam down the brakes.
Yeah, I've got a brake in the floorboard on my side, so I control everything.
Most fulfilling for you was history out of those?
Yeah, I'm a history buff. My dad was a history teacher, so I enjoy history. Enjoy reading about it, studying about it. But I think everybody's different depending on what the outcome is. But I mean, in a history classroom, we had a lot of open floor discussion because I think those are important because you come across in U.S. history a lot of debates on certain laws and Bill of Rights and stuff like that. Women getting the right to vote, and then you have civil rights. So you can get in some good discussions on that end, and a lot of kids stand up and I give them the opportunity to get the floor, and you get a lot of opinions, and I think that's good to have in history class. But yeah, that's my fun part, I guess.
Well, it's cool to see the teacher side of things. Like I said, that I feel like you kind of get lost at times, but as I said, thanks so much for joining us this week on the Green Wave Coaches Show. Big game coming up for Gallatin on Thursday on Halloween. Coach, I hope you have some Smarties ready for you in your pocket. Your favorite Halloween candy, right?
Smarties are my favorite.
That was the fun question
Did
of last year.
you remember that?
I did.
And there's a bell.
There's the bell. That's our cue to go. We'll see you back here next week.
You've been watching the Green Wave Coaches Show with Gallatin football head coach Michael Stroup and Gallatin News sports editor Blaine Kellar. The Green Wave Coaches Show is brought to you by Tennessee Ace Hardware, Double Dogs, Derryberry's Heating and Air, and the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.